Welcome everyone to TacosandGeeks.com reviews. Justin here, back with another video game review, and today we are going to be reviewing a game that I was looking forward to, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. And I've been telling my boys, hey, you guys got to get this, we got to pick this up, we got to play this game together. And now that I finished it, now I have to do the review, and I'm going to kind of tell my boys, kind of hold off and wait for a sell spoiler alert on the actual score. So let's talk about the story. Here's a brief synopsis as always. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Readers Rewind, the team faces off against a robotic reincarnation of the Power Rangers' longtime nemesis, Robo Rita, who has conjured up a portal to send herself back into time so she can finally vanquish the Power Rangers by forming an alliance with her younger self. And that's pretty much the whole gist of the actual story here. And the story plays out just like how a Power Rangers episode would. There's moments in the story where you're able to kind of talk to various characters at Angel Grove, at least at the Angel Grove Mall, and you get to talk to Bulk and Skull, and pretty much you get some dialogue here, but it plays like a regular Power Rangers episode. And for those who wonder about, oh my God, time travel in Power Rangers, if you read the latest editions of the Power Rangers comic books and just comic books from the past, then you know that time travel is definitely not out of the norm for the Power Rangers. They do time travel, multi dimensions, multiverse stories all the time, especially in the comic books. So for Robo Rita to go back into time and try to team up with her younger self, it sounds like it's just another day in the Power Rangers universe, to be honest with you. And the story, for what it is, it's serviceable. It gets the story going, it gets the game going. So it gets a nice setup of where and why we are in this particular moment of the Power Rangers. And it does have a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of winks there from the original series. So fans of the actual original series growing up, I think they will appreciate what the story tried to do, at least the story mode there. But let's talk, my friends, about the gameplay, because this is where the disappointment comes into play. Okay, so disappointment comes here, my friends, is because, okay, yes, it is a side scrolling beat 'em up. So, yes, I hate to do comparisons, but it's no Streets of Rage 4, and it's definitely no Shredder's Revenge. Power Rangers, unfortunately, I will put it in the same category as the recent G.I. Joe beat 'em up there, but a little bit better. But they didn't. It's amazing because there really wasn't there. They didn't. It's kind of like they did the bare minimum, to be honest with you. The controls are, while fluid, it does feel a little bit clunky at times, a little more slower paced, which I wasn't expecting with that. And it does feel really repetitive. Yes, they do have like a dodge button, and they have various putties that you can go after, but it just felt clunky and just slow paced compared to other beat 'em ups that we have here. And that's where I would say the disappointment comes into play here. And not to mention also that there really ain't no real progression system with this. Yes, there's various skill sets and skill moves that you could just do, but there's no real kind of progression to make you feel like you're getting more stronger or leveling up progress, or things of that particular nature. And they also have, my friends, this kind of weird mechanic when you're destroying the time disruptor, and this is why it's called rewind. So as you kind of destroy the time disruptor, which I call a pace killer, as you just saw there, it rewinds everything, and then we're going right back to fighting the same putties and doing the thing twice. I don't know why they decided to make that decision from a developer standpoint, but for me, that just kind of kills the pacing, and it's just a kind of, it's really annoying, to be honest with you. But that being said, there are some saving graces for this game here, and to me, I think it's one of the biggest highlights of the particular game here, and that is, of course, the boss fights and the vehicle sections that I'll get into a little bit later. But the boss fights, I had fun with them, especially facing Goldar and just learning the pattern. If you played any real beat 'em up, then you know that certain times enemies will have a certain pattern, the bosses will have a certain pattern, and once you learn the pattern, it becomes a little bit more easier. But I had fun with the boss battles. You're able to do special attacks. Each ranger has a special attack once they get their meter full, and it does a lot of damage, and it does really good. But like I said, it's very limited on moveset, which I thought would be it's weird for a Power Rangers game to be limited on type of move sets that they can do. I know it's a 2D beat 'em up, but hell, I will argue that the Power Rangers the movie for the Sega Genesis had a little bit of better presentation than this. But I would say the highlight of this game is definitely the vehicle sections here, or the rail on shooter section here. And this, if you have seen rail on shooters before and you play arcade games before, this for me is where I had the most fun here. I thought that the rail on shooter add-on was very well, and it's just a nice breath of fresh air that takes away from the constant repetitiveness of the beat 'em ups that we got in this particular game here when it comes to just smashing putties all the time. So this gives you a little bit more of a variety of styles of gameplay, and I thought they did a really good job of that, of really just introducing the Zords that you could use. You're driving through the Zords through various levels. You could also use the Power Rangers motorcycle as you progress through the levels. If you go to a certain level, you get to drive the motorcycles. And yes, I will have to say this too. This part also gets repetitive as well because it is the rail shooter. But I would say that this where you can see is where the developers took a lot of their time here and took a lot more care to really give you more of a fun experience. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it's used just enough for us to really enjoy ourselves and get a break from the beat 'em up that we got here. And I really did enjoy this one. This is like my favorite section of the game is when we're driving those vehicles and doing the rail on shooters here. Now, a hit or miss, depending on who you talk to, is the Zord battles. And if you know Rita, then you know she likes to make her monster grows. And how does this play? Unfortunately, it plays kind of like a rock'em sock'em, and you have to get close to your opponent and then just kind of punch the hell out of them until you fill up the meter to use your master sword. Master sword, this isn't Zelda, but your power sword, sorry, your power sword. And that's pretty much it. It's kind of plays like Punch Out where you gotta dodge left and right, move closer in and knock them out. And otherwise than that, it's just it gets it's more better at co-op because your friends will also have to control their sections of the Zords, which I thought worked more better. Co-op is where you're gonna get the most gameplay here. So let's talk about those graphics here. Graphically, it's gorgeous. Graphically, aesthetically, I have no problem with this. I love the way this game looks. I love the way the game runs. I had no issues. I had no hiccups. And like I said, I say this every time I do a 2D game. It would be a damn shame if we play a 2D game like this that has like 16-bit graphics or 16-bit inspired graphics and we're getting lagging issues or frame rate issues. It'll be a damn shame, folks. But I will say the graphics stay true to the Power Rangers mythos. Of course, when it comes to character designs, Goldar looks amazing. The Ranger suits look amazing. I would have to say, even when you're in the Angel Grove sections where you get to see the Rangers out of their power suits, their designs look great. I would have loved to actually spend a little bit more time with the Rangers outside of suits like they used to do in the Super Nintendo version where they used to fight the putties and then you earned a way to transform. But here's some sound. It wouldn't be a Power Rangers game without the theme song. And yes, folks, the theme song is in there, and it's a great soundtrack. Soundtrack is pretty cool. Soundtrack does its job. It keeps the tone going, keeps the action going, it keeps the methods going there. So I like the soundtrack of this. really good. I wouldn't like go out and find the soundtrack though, but the music is pretty good. It has a nice mix of rock music in there, so pretty good soundtrack. Really enjoyed it there. Now, my final thoughts here. I have to say that I am kind of disappointed with this. I expected a lot more. I felt that the pacing of the game could have been a little bit better. Control scheme could have been a little bit more smoother. And for the price point that they're charging us for this game, I unfortunately, my friends, I cannot recommend this at full price. So Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is going to be getting a wait for sale. You can pick this up for like at least $10 or $15. That's the highest I can go to recommend this here. The $30, $34 asking price is a little bit steep, especially if it's not gonna take you more than 5 hours to beat this game. It's a fun game, honestly, to play with your friends. I think you're gonna get more enjoyment playing it with multiplayer there with your friends, especially with the mechanics of you guys controlling the Zords together and you guys facing the enemies together and things of that nature. You're gonna get more bang for your buck with actual friends here. So wait for sale. I definitely will have to recommend that for that. This is Justin from tacosgeeks.com saying, Lady Days, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace, love, and happiness to you all.